Hello and welcome to UTB Blogcast number 99. With us tonight we have UTB Brad, Dave, Roy, and Blackberry Brad. Say hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
Everyone. Let's jump in and talk first about the Gartner score that Blackberry got this week. I'll jump in at once. Out of 15, I'll go ahead and start, all right? Out of 15 enterprise mobility management vendors evaluated, BlackBerry got the highest score for 6 of them, including...
For all 6 of them?
Is it all 6? I don't know. I'm reading this off the thing because I haven't done my homework.
6 categories, and BlackBerry was number 1 on all 6.
Yeah.
So it's hitting on all 6 cylinders or something.
And if I'm reading this right, it's high security government grade, high security commercial, shared data, shared devices, non-employee, and bring your own. Those are the 6?
Yeah. Those are the 6, yep.
Okay. So that's how we're awesome.
I like how we say we. Yeah, we did it. We did it. Never mind the people that are actually working on it, but yeah, we did it.
Yeah, I mean, they beat out some big name players too. I mean, just listen to these names that they came up ahead of: Samsung, Cyber 80, APT, Mobile Iron. They got VMware, IBM, Checkpoint Software Technologies. I mean, those are pretty big name players in the MDM.
Yeah,
land.
VMware has been really working hard to get in / take over that space, and to have BlackBerry continue to lord over them is an awesome thing. One thing I didn't dig into and don't really know what they're talking about, though, is what they're talking about with shared devices. Anybody know what that means?
I'm thinking devices that
devices that are shared, perhaps.
Yeah, it's
maybe
logic.
Company-owned iPads or company-owned devices that they use, amongst multiple employees, or for instance, we have a local gas station chain around the area named Wawa, if you ever heard of it. That each store has their own X amount of iPads that they use for training purposes and to place orders for sandwiches and such. So technically those are shared devices, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm. Wawa to me is a pedal for my guitar, so I don't know.
It's a Canadian geese, actually. Technically, that's what the name stands for.
All right.
But anyways.
Anyway, yeah, Gartner, way to go. Some people sort of view Gartner as a pay-to-play kind of a deal, but I just sort of view it as the kind of organization that gets equipment, services, software, and whatnot into people's faces, and I think they do a fairly good job of scrutinizing the competition when they're involved. So to me, it's an important organization, Gartner. It gets the job done as far as I'm concerned. Again, some people kind of view it as if I give you enough money, I'll look good here. I haven't really seen that myself. And then there was another topic.
BlackBerry also got recognition from IDC as well this week too, which is pretty big. They were they were top of the list on their enterprise mobility management vendor assessment. So another good mark for BlackBerry from another organization that values security and such.
Yep, excellent nod there as well.
So you guys done talking about that now?
Apparently that died real quick. There's way more exciting stuff that we were ankle deep in, elbow deep in this week.
Yeah.
It fizzled out. You know?
Now, if it was a Gartner belt, it might have been more interesting. But it's
Moving on. Let's go ahead and jump into the key one talk. We have a couple new, similar, different key ones.
There's so many types.
I know which one's which. Good, let's
know.
go juggling.
Well, let's first just mention that there's a new BlackBerry coming to Erica's house, but she won't get to play with it very much.
But did you tell your husband that he's going to have to make videos for us now?
Yeah,
Well, I told him I would be taking pictures. I don't know if I'll be able to get the videos done for you.
We forgot today's a very big day in the BlackBerry Key One world. Today is AT&T Key One Space Black launch day on AT&T.com. I don't think
coming in the house.
Has anybody confirmed that it's in stores or anything?
I haven't
yet. I know it's online.
Web only.
Yeah, web only for now.
Erica's the big winner here. She's got the first one ever delivered. It's just coming right now. It's almost around the corner, I think.
I'm kind of anxious to see, because I mean, Erica's Erica's very lucky that she's going to have both of them in her house, so she can be looking for any kinds of differences between them besides the black paint.
Yeah, it's interesting that AT&T just went with the black paint version instead of the spec'd up version, which
it didn't have corners to grind off. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they had to do something to it.
I can just see it now. AT&T has this whole shop with, corner grinder machines.
Well, because the top of the Key One is flat, so they could have been like, okay, let's flip it. Let's have corners on the bottom and flat and grind it down on the top. Can we do that? Then we'll release it a year later, and we'll passport it. How about that?
It's interesting that they just with the space black version, not with the silver as well, and then they give, I get the whole exclusiveness on the space black version or edition, but kind of interesting they didn't do silver as well.
Erica, did you buy your space black permanent marker pen so that when it shows up, you can just sort of change yours and slip it in there and be none the wiser, right?
Yeah, I told the husband that he could have the new one and that I would keep mine.
Damn it! You're so giving. Stop it.
I'm gonna make him wear my extra purple case.
Oh, there's method to your madness. Okay.
I told him he can't have a new case because we have one already. I like to spend money on a new case.
So I'm getting confused because there's just so many different varieties right now. So the AT&T version, I know it's black. Does it have the same specs as the silver?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then the one that's coming to Europe and Middle East, and I'm forgetting which all areas.
Canada.
That's spec'd up, but only one SIM card, right?
Yeah, no dual SIM card there.
Yeah, it's double the memory and another gig of RAM.
But not double the fun.
It's not double the fun, and you can't chew the damn thing. Well, you can try, but anyway. And that's why you can't get another SIM in it, because you get an SD card slot.
Which, I mean, I know we've got one person in our group that wants that second SD card slot. I mean, not SD, but he wants the second SIM card. That's Rob. He's wanting to get a hold of that one, which that one's only in India and China. Is that right?
Right now, yeah.
Okay, so he's wanting to get his hands on that. But I mean, personally, I would never have a need for the second SIM, and I would never have a phone that didn't have that SD card slot. Unless there comes a day when nobody has that SD card slot, which I'm dreading. But, I'm dreading losing the rest of my hair more than that. So for now, I definitely want to have that SD card slot.
You sound like you're Judge Dredding or something.
Oh, no, the problem is when I speak, I see myself, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, it's nice to have that SD card slot, because now when SanDisk releases their new 400 gig SD card, we could put that in there and have double the memory, triple the memory.
Yeah.
Let's run through. How big is the SD card slot in your daily driver right now, or the SD card?
Mine?
I got 128. Yeah.
I only have a 64 gig mine. That's all I really need because lots of things are being stored to the cloud, and I really don't hit. I don't put movies or anything on my phone because I'd rather watch movies elsewhere. But I'm a weird use case.
I'm a 64 gig user today, and I would say I was maybe 35% full. So immediately, when I've put that into a new device, I tell whatever that can store things onto it. It does. So that's photos, movies, maps for my nav apps. What else? Music. I don't know. Whatever. Everything goes there. But it's not. It takes. Maybe I'm like Brad there. I'm not a huge user of that kind of the kind of media that would fill up that 64 gig card.
I'm not either. I just got a great deal on 128 gig. So that's the only reason I've got that.
If I could find a 200 gig or 128 gig SD card for a good deal, which there's actually some pretty good deals out there right now, but I would definitely pull the trigger. But there's no need. I mean, I have handfuls of SD cards sitting around. They're all in different devices right now, but if I fill up on one, I can just pop another one in and take care of it. But
I found a 4 gigabyte micro SD card the other day as I was going through my drawers. 4 gigabyte. And at one point in time, I was proud of that.
I found a 512 megabyte.
I think my current SD card is 8 gig.
Yeah. Remember that when that was just massively, awesomely huge.
I do.
On my phone.
Well, I totally remember when 8 gig was huge. I have no memory of a 4 gig card. None.
Yeah.
But I remember 8 gig was just
side. I put a 16 gig inside my quadcopter so it could store the flight patterns.
Yeah, in my brand new RIM 957 device, I have about 5 megabytes of storage in here. So
that's awesome.
That's all I need in this bad boy. I mean,
I watched your video and watched you say that, and when you said that, I laughed. It's funny. Yeah,
if you go check out on the Bear Reporter YouTube page, I put up our Throwback Thursday device of the week, and we did the 957 from RIM. It actually wasn't even technically a BlackBerry device. It was just a pager technically, but it had 512 megabytes of RAM and 5 megabytes of internal storage, which is kind of backwards at first, but I confirmed that it wasn't get my numbers wrong. But yeah, 512 megs of RAM and 5 megs of internal storage. Today that's like a head scratcher. Like, how do you fit it? But there's not much on here to fit. So
yeah, that was like my early computing days where I learned how to program in BASIC, and I ran out of memory making a game, and it was 8K. So
that's why you had the tape deck memory or tape deck drive. Remember that?
Yeah, well, that was for saving it after, but in order to program, I needed more memory, so I had to go get a 16K cartridge for almost $200. 16K for $200. Yeah, and I was king of the memory world.
How about you, Roy? How big is yours?
32, mainly for photos. I'm not using, I don't have any music or anything on my memory card. Nothing interesting.
Actually, I mean, yeah, I take a lot of photos, but most of my photos are just, I really use them as notes. I'm not like one of these Instagram kings, obviously. I take a lot of photos of, I need to remember that. And then I also listen to a lot of podcasts. So that's the only reason I need memory. But even needing memory, I come nowhere close to even filling half of my card. Not even.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest consumption for me is like podcasts, and that's very little to begin with.
Even when I download Netflix episodes on my device, I'm not filling the 32 gigs. So
And you just leave them there, or do you wipe them out after you watch?
I'm wiping them out a few days after. So
yeah.
I forgot we could download from Netflix. I completely forgot that.
yeah,
I'm not
just
even sure
download.
I've experienced the need to do that. I don't know.
Yeah, when I'm
I'm
on the
not used to having
train
Netflix on my BlackBerry.
to work, I'm now watching Narcos, the 3rd season.
Yeah, I'll be into that. No spoilers, thank you.
Yeah, I can't download episodes on my RIM 95.7. It's just it hasn't been working. I've been trying to sideload Netflix onto it, but it just keeps saying error, can't plug into a computer. So
yeah, I think you know, even trying to get an old I Love Lucy or you know, the Beverly Hillbillies is out of the question.
yeah, I don't know. I'll keep trying. I'll keep you guys posted though.
Okay.
No,
Netflix.
not even a reality on that phone, right? It was either on or off.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
the app for that phone is called Notflix.
Yeah. The app for that phone is called the alarm clock. That's pretty much the only app that's on there.
Yeah.
So what's up next? I mean, do we have any more to say about the multiple black versions?
Thanks for the memories.
Dave wanted to mention the IFA announcement.
Yeah, Dave, go.
What is that?
IFA, yeah. What? Who, me? Anyway,
Yes, you, for the Black Edition.
that's coming for UK and
The
Canada.
international one.
I don't know where the heck else, but that is the 4 gig, 64 gig, 4 gig RAM, 64 gig memory. Because we haven't stopped talking about memory yet, as I recall. Or did I forget? Anyway, it doesn't matter. And that's an all black unit, so it's spec'd up like the Indian version, but available for other countries in which I reside in one of them. So I just for fun checked my carrier's website today before the internet crapped out. Thank you very much. And it's not there. They just have the regular one yet.
Till now, just Coffin Warehouse and Unlocked Mobile UK started to take a pre-order for the Black KEYone, and it's going to be released in Europe, Canada, Middle East, Japan, and Saudi Arabia or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we'll see over the next few weeks who picks it up and who does not.
What do you think about the price in Canada?
I don't know yet.
$799.
Yeah, which is what, $100 more? No, I think it was $649 for the original unit from my carrier. But the thing that was intriguing me, you see, is that on the plan that I'm on, it would have been a $0 phone in November or October. It's either next month or the month after that. I could pick up a regular KEYone for $0. So I was kind of thinking that maybe this new one might get slipped in there for the same deal. I don't know. So there's that, and of course there's other things, but that's another subject we can touch on.
And I think the most interesting, it's not official announcement, but the global sales manager interviewed on CNET and other websites, and he said that in 2 months from now we will see a full touch device.
Right.
We already know a Bluetooth certification. We know IP67 certification for the device. The only thing we don't know, and I'm very happy about it, is the full specs of the device and the name or code name of the device. We all remember that previous devices from BlackBerry, half a year before the device released, we already know all the specs, the name,
Right.
the design, and we're 2 months from a new announcement, and we know nothing. And I'm very happy about it.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So you're talking about what we've seen as a BBD-100?
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I've heard rumors of it having similar specs to the Key One, apart from the screen size, obviously.
Yeah, the rumored specs are pretty much same processor, if not the 626, which is pretty much the same. They got 1920 by 1080 display and 4 gigs of RAM and a 4,000 milliamp battery. Which, if it's 4,000 milliamp battery, I'm sold already. Because
4,000
imagine
batteries.
I mean,
is the beast. Is the father of the beasts.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is. And I think that you, in order to capture the same amount of hours that you can happily pull off of a Key One, which I've yet to experience, with the increased screen size, you have to bump the battery. And the fact that they bumped the battery by as much as this rumor suggests means I bet you it pushes the Key One's longevity. I'll bet you it pushes that off the shelf. That's the new king, I think.
Yep.
Guessing. Totally guessing.
4,000. I mean, the Key One's 3505 milliamp battery. So even if they bumped it up to 3600 milliamp batteries, they probably could have gotten away with the same Key One battery life. But in fact, they said, you know what, screw it, let's go 4,000. Let's just get it up there, and
let's see how much we can put into the battery, and let me get 6,000.
Throw down the gauntlet.
That also kind of makes me think of what they're going to use for actual display type. Imagine if they use like an OLED screen plus this battery plus the processor. I mean, that's going to be a good-looking screen for one. It's going to be a great battery life because you don't have to worry about the screen take away from that battery life if it's OLED. I mean, we don't know what the screen's going to be made of yet, but hopefully we'll find out soon. But yeah, I mean, a 4,000 milliamp battery, I get almost 2 days out of my Key One now. Imagine, double what I'm getting now. It's 4 days. You're back to using I'm back to using one of these again.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say.
And what's very interesting about the rumors is it speaks about a home button with the fingerprint scanner.
Yep.
I don't remember ever a home button for a BlackBerry device.
Well, we didn't have
talking physical,
but we had we had buttons. We had
buttons. We like buttons, but home button.
It's kind of like the old Samsung devices.
To a crippled device.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you consider the touchpad a home button? Really? Maybe not. I don't know.
You mean the trackpad?
Trackpad, yeah.
No, because that was just more of a cursor. Didn't give you home. If you pressed it, it didn't go home.
Okay, the very simple as a menu.
Yeah, I mean it's like the the DTEC 60 only has that fingerprint sensor in the back. It's not really a home button, but just flip that to the front page. It's pretty much just we haven't seen it on the BlackBerry device yet, but they need to. I think BlackBerry Mobile is sold on the Touch ID or fingerprint sensor, and the only place to put it is either on the front or on the back. And I'm sure TCL has heard about how much people hate their fingerprint sensors on the back of their devices. The front makes a lot more sense. So let's put a little home button. Hopefully, it's not a giant home button like it was on like the Galaxy S7, where you get to see that that's a ugly looking home button. But hopefully they make it small or some kind of size. Maybe they just make it look like a trackpad or a space bar.
Hey, going back to battery on the Key One. No, I don't want to change subjects, Dave. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sure you do.
Go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say, it's funny to talk about having a fingerprint home button on a BlackBerry device, when the rumors are that the next iPhone will be purely gestures based, won't have any kind of home button, and will have some BlackBerry 10 elements to it as far as flicking and getting rid of apps and whatnot goes. So it's funny, this thing that goes round and round with different manufacturers trying out each other's ideas. I kind of predicted this, if it comes true, for Apple. When they, I think it was iOS 7 or iOS 8 or whatever it was, when they let you flick up apps, and then there would be these bunch of cards. I think it was iOS 7. And then you could get rid of those by flicking them up. And I showed one of the guys at work who just upgraded to that, the playbook. And I said, well, what planet are you guys on where you just invented this thing I've had for 2 years, you idiot, kind of thing, So it's like around and round and round and over we go.
Yeah, well, I mean, for one, think of, half the, I don't say half, but a good chunk of the BlackBerry 10 development team is now at Apple. So
that's what I hear, yeah.
Vivek, I forget his last name, but he works for Apple right now. He's part of their iOS team. And I believe I'm pretty certain I heard that somehow Apple obtained the rights to TAT, which was the old Palm company that brought those gestures to. They were with BlackBerry. They had the
Astonishing Tribe.
Yeah, Astonishing Tribe. That's what they're. And I forget where I remember hearing this, but I remember hearing that Apple somehow acquired them or got that team somewhere. I could be mistaken, but yeah, I mean, the fact that there's a bunch of BlackBerry 10 developers over in iPhone land, and and we're possibly seeing BlackBerry 10 aspects on there doesn't surprise me. I can't wait to say, hey, Apple users, want to use my BlackBerry 10 device? Or
well, maybe they'll understand how to use it now.
No, they won't.
Sure, were shitting on it before.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you think about it, what the other rumor is with the iPhone and Samsung, the Note 8 has this as well. They're going towards this whole iris scanner or the facial recognition stuff, where BlackBerry's sticking with the touch, the fingerprint sensor, because who wants to look at their face online? Like if you go to I don't know if anybody goes to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or wherever you go to get your coffee, but most of these places have those mobile apps where you can just pay with your phone, right? And to pay with your phone, you have to unlock it with some kind of unlock mechanism, whether it's a PIN number, a pattern, or whatever. But who wants to go to a Starbucks and pay for their coffee and stare at their phone while they're doing, while they're waiting to unlock their device and, be like, hey, I want to pay for this. Let me unlock my phone like this. Wait a minute. Oh, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
If you go nowadays, you either look at people using their fingerprint sensor on whatever device they're using, or they're using some kind of PIN or pattern password to unlock their device. So
everyone I see at Starbucks is either taking selfies or taking photos of their coffee anyway.
So that's after they pay their coffee. This is during them paying for their coffee. They have to unlock their phone to pay with their device anyway. So,
oh my God, it's not working. I shouldn't have changed my lipstick. Shut up. I mean,
BlackBerry or TCL, I should say, is sticking with something that we know works very well. It's also implemented with Android. Android is coded all for these fingerprint sensors. Android's not really coded for any facial recognition software. And
it is. It's in there. It's not turned on on our BlackBerry Android.
Yeah,
but it is there as part of Android.
Well, yeah, it's there, but Google has announced it. It's not going to be part of Oreo,
it's been there since Lollipop. It's part of their trusted. What's it called, Dave? We were trying to.
No. I mean, I'm sorry, not facial recognition is there, but iris scanning is not there as a form
yeah.
of unlocking your device. And it's not in order yet, so we're not going to see it this year. Maybe we'll see it in the, whatever the next version of Android is. But most of those Android apps that use a fingerprint sensor, like for instance, my Bank of America app, or whatever you think of, those Android apps aren't going to use the iris scanner until Android approves that for them to use it. So, these companies, iPhone is a different story because it's iOS and they control the ecosystem. And if they're putting in the iPhone, it's probably in the iOS update that's coming down the pipeline. But for the Android side, fingerprint sensor makes more sense because it's already implemented in Android, and they're all these companies are using it for a way of gaining access into something on your device.
Smart lock is what you were looking for.
There you go. Thank you.
Where they have trusted stuffs in there.
Yeah.
What I was going to say about my Key One battery, because I'm horrible on batteries. I really am. My Passport, which I know everybody just got amazing battery life out of. I know this. I couldn't make it through a full work day. I couldn't. It was by far the best battery I had since BBOS days. But my screen's on all the time, right? It's like I'm really bad. I couldn't make it through 8 hours on my Passport battery. My Key One, I have no problem doing that. But I realized the other day that it's not just that my phone lasts me all day, but I don't even have to charge it like I used to. My charging routine now is, and I do use the boost. I use the boost mode, but I charge my phone on my way to work, which is about 15 minutes. I charge my phone, which is an hour, and I charge my phone on the drive home, which is about 15 minutes. That's the only time I charge my phone. And I am having no problems making it. And I'm the guy that's always charged my phone overnight and would generally charge it a couple of times during the day. And it's just incredible to me what this Key One can do as far as battery. Like, suddenly when I'm able to go to bed and not have to make sure that my phone is plugged in, the last thing I do, feels really good.
Yeah, that just pisses me off because as much as I love my DTEK 60, the battery's not not quite as robust as I would have liked it to be. Does it get me through a day? Yeah. Do I have to plan that sometimes? Yeah. Do I thank my lucky stars I have power in the car? Yeah. So I mean, that is outrageously compelling, and I've said that before, for a Key One style device, or if the rumors are true about a 4,000 milliamp hour battery in the next full touch, that's just ridiculously compelling too. Question about the charging in the car, does that do the boost mode?
It does. Yep. Depends
on the amperage you have available. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure there's not too many car chargers out there that have the lower amperage anymore. They're pretty much all switched over to, unless you have like a really old car charger that probably want to do it. I mean, the Key Ones the Key Ones definitely changed me my charging. I mean, I still plug my Key One in every night if I think about it. It's not, but it's to the point where, like, if I was using the Priv, right, I would have to be like, if I forgot to plug my phone in overnight, I'd freak out in the morning. Well, great, there goes like half my morning, of using my phone, because now I have to plug it in and I'll just let it sit at the desk at the office. But now with the Key One, if I wake up and like, oh crap, I forgot to plug in my Key One. Oh well, I'll plug it in tonight and charge it that way. It just completely changes your way of you don't have to worry about charging your device. You don't have to worry about constantly. I laugh. Where was I? I was at some kind of gathering with folks, and all these people are just searching for plugs, looking for, oh, my phone's going to die. I only have 5% left. I can't get, I can't go do that. I can't take a picture, or it's going to die. I'm like thinking to myself, like, I'm looking at my phone, like, all these people have like 5% left. I haven't plugged my phone in all day. I'm sitting at like 60%, and going strong for the rest of the day. And, I was on vacation and everybody around me was just worrying about their phone charging and not making it through the day. And it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm like, what are you guys doing on your phone? My phone's at like 80% right now. And I have like, probably like Brad, I have 20 accounts, whether it's email accounts or social network accounts, all in the BlackBerry Hub. I have 4 different Gmail or Google accounts syncing in the background. I'm always using, tons of apps. I mean, I have over like 200 apps on my device. Most of them are all syncing somewhere or tracking me somehow. So I'm very hard on my device and doing all these things on my device, and still can get through a day and a half with my KEYone. And it's just amazing.
Yeah, the very first thing I do with every phone, and it's always been this way, is turn off anything that dims my screen, and I turn the brightness up. And I know that that's the worst thing you can do for a battery, but I don't like a dim screen. I hate it. And I know the trade-off for that is you need to charge during the day.
Yep.
And I don't anymore. I just don't have to. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of like it gives you that mentality of like, bring it on. Like, let me see if I can get through this day. Like, I remember, a few weeks back, I was thinking, I actually got through 2 days of full battery life. I'm like, do I plug it in or do I see if I can make it through 3? I'm like, let's just do it. Let's go 3. And I made it through half that day. And I was just like, man, this thing. And the other cool thing about the KEYone, with that USB-C charger, there's a ton of like little adapters out there that you can. BlackBerry Mobile actually put up a video about this and kind of made me aware. I mean, I knew it could be done, but I didn't really think of it. So if you have like friends that have iPhones or other Android devices that use micro USB-C, you can plug in an adapter with USB-C to your device and use that to like, for instance, they have an Lightning to USB-C adapter, so you can plug it into your device and charge someone else's device using your phone. You don't have to use a power brick. You can use your phone. And I haven't tried it yet, but I really want to see. I want to do that, charge someone's phone up with my device, and then see how much more I can get through my day. And
we did that. Someone, we did a video of that with the Passport, and it was kind of like, haha, look what we can do. And you just use a USB on the go cable, and you let them plug in, and you can charge off the Passport anybody else's device.
Yeah, I just want to do that to an iPhone user and be like, I made it through a day and a half charging your phone and using my phone at the same time. Like,
I did that off my Passport for somebody at the office. I don't remember who, but USB OTG.
So should we get to the meat and potatoes of tonight's podcast?
I think we've got meat and then we've got potatoes.
Do we want to talk about Uber? Do we want to talk about Uber first?
Okay.
Uber's in BBM.
Yay! It's on our list for tonight. Yay! Uber integration. Meanwhile, in other BBM news, take it away, Brad.
This week was rough, right? Some people are upset. Some people could care less. But some changes happened with BBM. Let's say it that way. Some changes happened with BBM. And suddenly people that switch between devices, which I think there's a lot of us here at UTB and apparently over at Barry Reporter that does that. One day you may be using a BlackBerry Android device, the next day you may be using a BB10 device, because we're collectors and we love our BlackBerries and we love using our BlackBerries. Well, suddenly you could move your BBID from your BB10 device to your BlackBerry Android device, but you couldn't move it back. So it's like, okay, here's a glitch. Here's a glitch that needs to be reported. And then we started hearing rumors that it wasn't a glitch, that this is the way it works now, right? So I posted it, I blogged it, because, hey, there's news, and coming across news is sometimes hard to do. And then I reached out to BBM and BlackBerry. And I think Brad actually got a response before I did. But we did get a response, and we got a response from both parties involved. And it's like, yes, this is the way it's going to work. And hey, here's some other things that's going to happen, right? Well, of course, our community being the way that we are, and we're very vocal and very into what we like to happen. Let's say some people were angry. Let's say some people were vocal. Let's say that we heard for the 1 millionth time that this is the final nail in the coffin of BB10, right? But things got confused. I know we had it written out the way that it was supposed to be. We checked and we double checked. I know that Brad did the same thing over at Barry Reporter, but some things got confused. Some quotes got attributed to the wrong people, and that created its own little issue. So we had to be sure to go back and try to correct all of that. And luckily tonight, Alex Thurber took to Inside BlackBerry, and he wrote exactly what the changes are, exactly why the changes are, and changes that we can expect to see going forward. So there's the background story. Who has stuff to say about it? I know everybody does.
Go ahead, Roy.
Me?
Yes, you.
I'm the
He's
last
like the
one
only
to-
person okay with this. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I'm not switching back to a BlackBerry 10 device. I will probably not switching to another Android BlackBerry device because I'm using the KEYone. I'm not a switcher like you guys, but I understand why BlackBerry and Amtech doing this. I accept this, and I will not go vocal about it. I saw some people that are really mad about this change, but if you look 2-3 years from now, this is probably the best thing to do to separate the enterprise users that need to get their security grade BBM and the consumer users. And I think in 2 years, I don't know how many people really will switch between a BB10 and a KEYone second version regularly. So it's fine by me. Yeah.
We'll just let that hang there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am okay. Okay, let's see how I want to phrase this. I'm okay with part of what they did. I understand why they did it. I don't get why they didn't. I don't get why they kind of did this without telling anybody first. I would have loved them to say, come out and say, hey, you know what? We're going to make all these changes. And the post that Thurber put up on Inside BlackBerry, he put like on August 29th, the decision was made to flip the switch, pretty much to stop people from switching from BlackBerry or Android back to BlackBerry 10. Well, we just found out about this today. You know, it would have been nice for the BlackBerry to say, hey, you know what? 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, I mean, even August 28th, come out and say, hey, you know what? On August 29th, we're going to flip the switch and not let any BBM or BlackBerry IDs that are associated with a BBM for Android device go back to BlackBerry 10. I would have been fine with that. Great. But the fact that they didn't tell anybody is a big, I don't like the idea. I mean, first off, I'm still mad that I can't get BBM on my playbook. I mean, that's how back I'm going with BBM. But I got over it. I just recently got over that. The fact that I can't get BBM still in my playbook. And they did this. Now, so my big gripe with this whole situation is, yeah, I frequently I transition back and forth between a BlackBerry Android device or an Android device to a BlackBerry 10 device. There's a ton of us that still love BlackBerry 10. Just using it. If it's, for instance, there's days that I wake up, you know what? I want to go use my Classic for the day. I want to go use my Passport for the day. And the ability to switch back and forth to my BBM account or my BBM account between devices was very handy in doing so. Now it's can't do it, which one means I can't switch back to a BlackBerry 10 device. Great. BlackBerry's solution right now is to use a different BlackBerry ID on your BlackBerry 10 device or vice versa. You use a different BlackBerry ID on your Android device or iOS device. That's great, but for anybody who still uses a heavy amount of apps on your BlackBerry 10 device, that kind of that whole concept goes away. Because, for instance, if I have my Classic or my Passport, right, I have my BlackBerry ID signed up on it. I have apps on there that I purchased throughout the years on BlackBerry 10 and BBOS for that matter. I mean, I don't go back to BBOS as frequently BlackBerry 10, but if I have apps on BlackBerry 10 and I now have to use a different BBID on that device, I have to go get those apps again and either purchase those apps that I've paid for. Some of those apps are 99 cents, some of those apps are $3 or $10 or whatnot. Now, those purchases are no longer voided anymore unless I want to use a BlackBerry 10 device with that BBI or BlackBerry ID and not use BBM on it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some most times I don't really need to use BBM on my BlackBerry 10 device, but just like UTB Brad, I use Blend still, and I use my a BlackBerry 10 device BBM account to just chat on BBM when I'm sitting at my desk. Now I and before I used to be able to just swap back and forth between devices and use the same BlackBerry ID or same BlackBerry or BBM account. Now I had to create another BBM account or BBM or BlackBerry ID to let me do so, and now I have to say, invite a bunch of other people that I've already have on my one BBM account. It's just a kind of a mess of a situation that hopefully BlackBerry figures something out and how to
how many actually people still use BlackBerry 10 and BBOS. Okay, BBOS, I know Quinn still use very old BBOS 6 device maybe. But how many really still use BlackBerry 10 as a daily driver for the BBOS 7?
For the people who are using a BlackBerry 10 device as a daily driver, this isn't going to affect them. It's going to affect them when they, like us. For instance, like me, I have used the same BlackBerry ID, ever since they established BlackBerry IDs back in like 2009. I forget when they rolled out the same the BlackBerry ID concept, but I've had the same context on that on my BBM profile since I've had BBM. There's some people that are dating all the way back to BBM 4 or whatever it was on the curve. I still have some of those same contexts that I had to transfer back and forth, and so for me it affects me. For those who are hardcore BlackBerry 10 users, they're not getting off of BlackBerry 10 anytime soon.
That is my second question. It only affects people, users that switching from Android BlackBerry to BlackBerry 10, but how many people really? It's less than 1%. I think that when BlackBerry,
it's got to be way less than 1%.
Yeah. So when BlackBerry is seeing the big picture, they say, okay, so 2,000 people, 2,000 users will have some issues with BBM, but most users, when they convert to Android BlackBerry, they are, at least me, I will not be back to BlackBerry. I will not be back to a BlackBerry 10 device and not see why I need to do it.
Mm-hmm. Just to interject, because I get what you're saying, but I honestly doubt that BlackBerry looked at it and said, "Oh, it's 2,000 people."
No, of course not.
I think they probably didn't even consider that fact, because everyone knows the fierce BlackBerry 10 users out there, and we know that those fierce BlackBerry 10 users are not going to touch any other platform, not just BlackBerry Android, but any other platform. We also know that the majority of users that have moved from BlackBerry 10 to BlackBerry Android don't switch back and forth. I say, like you say, Roy, there's a very minimal amount of people that actually flip back and forth. And us being in our community in the way that we are in our community, I think we happen to know a lot of them. I think one of them's trying to join the blogcast as we speak right now, but can't get his camera on. But there are people that do flip back and forth, and I guarantee I would bet Dave a beer that nobody at BlackBerry even thought about the fact that there's people that do that, because why would people do that, honestly?
Yeah. And if I know BlackBerry, and for my job now, I'm an analyst of processes before the company do it. And my guess is that there are people before this change, they analyze and say, okay, so if we do the separation of the service, this what will happen. This is the consequence. And my guess, they wrote in a little font that some switchers, but I don't think BlackBerry did anything wrong. And if few people are angry, so they're right to be angry. But
I'm going to jump in here and say that going along with maybe
this
not.
This is where Roy wakes up in the show.
Maybe not like that, Roy.
It's already 6:30.
What can I say?
Damn.
I'm going to go with Barry reporter Brad at further to that and say, you know, what really would have been good is if they'd said something first. It's as simple as that. All they had to do was say on this date, and they knew they were going to do this many weeks ago, because nobody makes a decision and does it tomorrow. Not in a corporation like those, MTech and Creative Media Works and BlackBerry. They don't do that. Corporations that size have board meetings upon board meetings, make sure they're going to do what they want to do, negotiate contracts, do this and that. It takes weeks and weeks, and they knew they were going to do it weeks and weeks ahead. And all they had to do was say, on this date, this is what's going to happen. So, you know, and I very likely would have left my current BBID on my passport had I known.
Yeah.
I would have left it there.
Best practice would be. So
I would have left it there so that if I nuked that phone, I could get the apps that I have on it that I paid for, and it's a pittance in a big scheme of things. I get that, but it's the mind share, the thought that matters. It's the way you do things that people pay attention to, and that's why people are upset. It's not the fact that it actually happened. It's kind of how it happened. And then when you look at it in retrospect, whether you're being a frickin' crybaby about it or just a logical person, it could have been handled better.
I agree with that. I'm not arguing against that at all. Warning would have been great, because I honestly don't, as I said before, I don't think BlackBerry even considered the fact that there's people out there that switch back and forth. And I don't think that there were board meetings on it, because pretty much everyone that I spoke to, it seemed kind of a surprise to them. And those are the people that would have been in a board meeting on it, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, even if you don't think about those people that switch back and forth, you think about people that, you know, had their screen fall off and suddenly they need to go back to their BB10 phone while they're waiting on their replacement. They're going to be up the creek, right? They're not going to have any of their contacts anymore. They're not going to have any way to get in contact with anybody. So, I mean, yeah, I definitely agree that some prior warning really was necessary. Really was.
You think that if BlackBerry was warning us about it earlier, that those people will not cry about it? The same as
no, they'd still be crying. They cry just as much, no doubt.
Yeah, no, they would still be crying, because they would give them something to cry about. I mean, it's.
I don't know, Roy. I'm pretty upset. Can you have me a tissue, buddy? I'm totally losing it. Yeah.
The whole like everyone's saying. I mean, if we had warning, that would have been a lot better than what we have what happened.
Agreed.
What actually happened. The whole BBID thing. I mean, I'm sure BlackBerry looked at BlackBerry World and was like, we haven't seen a purchase in how many years? Or I mean, I think I actually purchased a couple apps on my other BlackBerry ID account that I had to create, and I think that's like the first purchases that we've seen on BlackBerry 10, BlackBerry App World since 2010, for that matter. I mean, that's but I'm sure they looked at it and didn't see much traffic, and they're like, yeah, we don't have to really worry about apps because people aren't really buying apps anymore. But I don't think they considered the people who've already purchased those apps and said, maybe they're going to want to use those apps again.
Yeah.
And
all you had to say, though. It's all you had to say.
Yeah. I mean, and again, they couldn't, there's no way around it. They couldn't solve this.
Yeah.
Even if they thought about it, they couldn't. There's no way to intertwine BBID with BBM, and then there's no way to. I'm sure there's a way to untangle BBID with App World, but it's probably harder than it's worth.
You know, to get a different BBID for your Android, your Blackdroid device, it doesn't matter at all. That's all based on an email. It doesn't matter.
Or a phone number.
Yeah, it's not even have to be email anymore on Android.
So, you know, I mean, it's a simple thing that could have been, you know, it could have been a nothing a few weeks ago, a bump, a blip.
Yeah, I completely understand the change. I really think that we've seen a lot of errors across BBM recently, like when MTech doesn't upgrade. And I really think, and this is without any knowledge, you know, not speaking to anybody, but I think the issue that we're seeing these issues with is the fact that, you know, the upgrades that we're seeing on MTech's BBM is conflicting with the BBM on BB10, right? Because MTech's pushing forward, they're upgrading, they're doing all these things to BBM. And I mean, let's be honest, consumer BBM on BB10 is going nowhere. It's not being developed. It's not being improved. They are doing stuff to enterprise. Obviously, that is what their focus is now.
Yeah, and I can't discount the idea that maybe, you know, some things might trickle down to consumer BB10 BBM. You know,
I don't think so. I think there's so much of a separation now.
I'm not expecting it. I'm just saying that it could happen.
Could happen, you know. And CNN could start loving Trump tomorrow, but I think it's just
we could see.
I think this is the reason behind it, and I completely understand how BlackBerry could not even think about the whole BBID purchase with BlackBerry World and not think about the people that are flipping back and forth. You're absolutely right. It could have been solved just by giving some warning. That's what should have happened. I can understand what happened, even if we do want to say that somebody screwed up somewhere. Now I just want to see, I want to see them come out with something to where those BB10 flippers, where the Brads and the Waynos of the world can go back and get their purchases from BlackBerry World,
right,
with a new BBID. That's the only. I think that would fix everything if we could do that.
Sure it would.
Look, I was fortunate enough. Hey guys, how are you? I was fortunate enough that when I use multiple devices. As you know, I've got several passports, the key one, the Priv. That I did set up a separate ID for each of the passports, and then another one.
Someone to talk to.
Well, that's it. I've got to talk to myself because you don't talk to me. But I do know of a few people that do actually flip back and forth, which has had a bit of an effect on it. But the one thing I can see is a bit of a workaround for this, and it's not going to suit some people because some people aren't willing to pay for it, would be switching to BBM Enterprise. Because then you can still use your BBM Enterprise, I believe, on Android and iOS.
Did you read Thurber's post?
Very quickly, yes. I was in the middle of doing 1,000 things. I think, no, it wasn't. Sorry, Android.
Try doing 999 of
BBM Enterprise. Yeah, BBM Enterprise and BB10, you can swap back and forth. So that would probably be the workaround that I could suggest.
It's not much of a workaround because going forward, you won't be able to switch between BBM Enterprise and BBM Consumer. That's not going to be able to happen anymore.
On BB10, you're talking?
On anything. However, you can be logged into multiple devices with BBM Enterprise at the same time, which is really awesome. And that would be enough in itself for me to jump from BBM Consumer to BBM Enterprise if it had groups and stickers and channels. You know what I mean? I'm not willing to jump to BBM Enterprise until it has parity with BBM Consumer, because I am a consumer. I like the consumer stuff. It's kind of why I'm there. And I'm not willing to give that up for the ability to be on multiple devices. But as far as a workaround being able to switch back and forth, that's not going to happen. Now you can have a consumer BBM, you know, and you can have an enterprise BBM, but you're not going to be able to flip back and forth under the same BBID.
Yeah, okay.
No, the servers have separated. It's good night, nurse. It's over.
It's not over.
The only issue that with Enterprise that I was
it's not over.
Really saying
all I'm thinking about is hello, nurse.
Yeah, the only feature that I think that Enterprise really needs at this point is groups, not group chats, but groups as we know it on consumer BBM and even on BB10 BBM. I think, you know, that's well, I know that's definitely holding me back, and it's also holding a few other people back that I know of that are running two devices for that reason. On their key one, they've got BBM Enterprise running, which is their main device, but they can't interact in our groups, so they then revert back to the or have a separate ID running on their passport, simply to be able to interact in the groups. So, you know, I can live without stickers. I can live without channels on that, I suppose, for now. But I'd really like to see group integration. It was there to start with, and yeah, look,
the channels used to be there too, but I mean, things have changed, and I mean, I understand your use case, Wayno. I totally understand your use case, but my use case is I can't do it without channels. You know what I mean? And channels are extremely important to me, obviously, especially with UTB. But I mean, I get that. But see, the same thing is like you're justifying this use case that, well, I don't need channels, I don't need stickers, I just want groups. Well, but you also are not justifying, or you kind of have an issue with the fact that you can't flip back and forth between devices. And like my thing is, how many of us here use multiple devices? I think pretty much all of us do, right? Now, how many of us that use multiple devices already have multiple BBIDs? I bet you it's all the same people.
I've got like 6.
I have 2.
Yeah.
I have 2 BBIDs and I use only one device.
That doesn't affect me personally. I do know of some people that it does affect, but not me personally. Like I said, I've got several IDs. And for the UTB stuff, I'm still not blogging on the key one. I'm finding it too hard. I'm just used to doing it on the passport. So, you know, as far as doing writing articles and channeling articles, it's all done on the passport. So I'd like to see channels brought across to Enterprise, most definitely. But at this point, it's not affecting me to a great degree because I can revert back to the passport for doing that. I find that, you know, just editing and that sort of thing's easier for me on that. But I would like to see groups and channels incorporated, more so groups, but definitely, you know, channels as well would be great in Enterprise. And they're still developing that, so I don't know what the reasoning was behind them pulling the groups and channels and that sort of thing out of there. But it was there, it was working. So
because they want to separate the databases and forget the interaction. So it's the beginning.
But whether it's a group or just an individual chat, it's still incorporated in the same database through BlackBerry servers and things like that. So, you know, hopefully we'll see these changes down the track. That's something I'd like to see, and I know a few others that are keen to see it. with the announcement of in Alex's post today of the multi-point of what was it? The
being on
in
multiple
enterprise
devices at the same time.
multiple devices at the same time. I mentioned it this morning in the Aussie group, and a lot of the people there, were jumping up and down. This is fantastic. We've been waiting for this for so long. It'd be nice to see a desktop integration, and that's what's coming. So you'll be able to use BBM Enterprise on your desktop, your tablet, your phone, and it'll sync across multiple devices. So that's a massive, massive change that's coming to enterprise that we won't even, as yet, I can't say we won't, but as yet we're not even seeing on consumer BBM.
Just playing devil's advocate here because that's what I do. But, you're talking about, well, groups were there and they took them out. Well, we need to understand, too, that BlackBerry Protect was replaced by BlackBerry Enterprise, right? I know it's like, hey, here's your customers, there's a name change, blah, 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 but a lot changed. So it's not necessarily that they took groups out. They changed things. You know what I mean? It's not like they could just put it back in because they took it out and they've gotten a file folder over there. A lot changed during that change, not just a name change.
Yeah, but I can't see the difference between a group chat and a group.
We're not looking at the coding either.
No, well, that's true.
We're looking at it from the UI.
Yep.
You and I both.
Nyack.
Because if I was looking at the coding, I'd be really confused.
You and me both.
Yeah, but I mean, think of it from a BBM Enterprise side, and I'm honestly asking this because I can't think of a reason, but does BBM Enterprise really need channels?
It doesn't need it, but if you could have BBM Enterprise and BBM Consumer on the device running concurrently side by side, and it had completely two different use cases. First of all, I'd say we need to change the name, right? Because you can't have two BBMs competing with each other, which is kind of what I feel like we're doing right now. But, let's just have, Enterprise Messenger and BBM. Let's do that. And I'd be a happy camper, and I might even have both of them. But I'm sorry, I'm a consumer. I'm not an enterprise user. I don't need all those high security tricks. I'm not trying to hide what I'm doing on the weekends from a spouse. I'm not trying to, I'm not trading secrets to the Russians. I'm not doing that stuff. I want to be sure that my boss doesn't know that I sent a meme to a friend that probably isn't friendly. And BBM protects me from that. So I need my channels because that's became my primary social media. That's the first thing I check in the morning. I need my groups because that's how I talk to you guys. I need my stickers because I've got a lot of really cute ones and I use them like an Indonesian teenage girl. So, I mean, I use them as they would, not as I would use an Indonesian teenage girl. So just get that out there.
Well, yeah.
So I mean, I'm not going anywhere without my stickers, my channels, and my groups.
I mean, I personally would really like they're not going to do it, but I would really like for BlackBerry to take the security level of BBM Enterprise and throw it into BBM Consumer. I know we don't need it as consumers, but it would make the app that much better in the spotlight, or much better in users' eyes or potential users' eyes, because you talk to somebody about BBM and why am I still using BBM? Oh, it's secure, and then you get the quick rebuttal. It's not as secure as so-and-so application, and then that's a 30-minute argument. But if they threw in the enterprise security stuff into BBM Consumer, that argument is now flawed easily.
But that's what you're paying for in the subscription for enterprise. That extra layer of security, that's why I said and things like that.
They're not going to do it because, one, they would have to bring back BBM from MTech, and throw it into BlackBerry's world.
Yeah, there's two different business models going on right now.
They would lose the BBM Enterprise subscription fees, which again, I get why it's not going to happen, or I know that's not going to happen, but I would love for it to happen. But I do agree that there needs to kind of rethink these names. I mean, BBM Enterprise and then BBM, and just BBM. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Okay, BBM Enterprise is for enterprise, right? BBM is for average Joe Schmoes. But to have them kind of compete with each other, yes and no. I mean, there's people like us who say, I'm going to go use BBM Enterprise because I like the idea of the security and stuff, and I don't mind paying the subscription fee. And then there's average BBM users that I don't really care. I don't really need any of that stuff. So
imagine this that I just thought of during this conversation. But imagine if we had BBM, right? Everything that we know about consumer BBM, and BlackBerry Enterprise Messenger, right? Or something that sounds a lot better than that. And they're two entirely separate apps with entirely separate purposes, with an entirely separate group of customers. But hey, guess what? They can communicate with each other. You know how much better that would be as a selling point than, hey, I've got BBM, but it doesn't do everything that this BBM does. And then I've got, hey, this BBM, but it doesn't do everything that this one does. I mean, imagine if the fact that these two completely separate messengers could communicate with each other. That's something that we're not seeing out there from anybody else right now. That would be a huge selling point.
Yeah, they can.
They can.
Well, I mean, but think about what if
they don't
suddenly tomorrow? But right now they're seen as the same messenger, but when they're not. Imagine if tomorrow you woke up. Imagine if tomorrow you woke up, Wayno, and suddenly you found out that BBM could communicate with WhatsApp. Oh, that would be huge, right? Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to either.
I don't know anyone on WhatsApp.
Well, I don't either, but that would be just a huge selling point for both of those services that, hey, you don't have to be on this messenger. You can be on this one and we can still communicate with each other. That's the equivalent of what's going on right now. Because BBM Enterprise is a separate app from BBM Consumer.
That's like,
but they're both communicating.
That's just like putting a wallpaper on your app and calling it a new update. I mean, that's, to look like WhatsApp. I mean,
let's not go there. Look, I had a thought too on that. BBM Enterprise is owned and run by BlackBerry. It's still BBM as we know it to a certain degree. MTech have licensed out or have the rights now to BBM Consumer. It's not tied to BlackBerry anymore. It's not tied to BlackBerry devices. What?
It's ran on BlackBerry. The servers are still BlackBerry servers, regardless of what people are saying. We know, and if you were in group chat today, you would know that. The server change that everybody's talking about, that's what, David, 2019? Mm-hmm. It is BBM. It's owned by BBM. It's completely, owned by BlackBerry. It's running on BlackBerry servers.
Okay, getting away from that, what I was getting at was with your BB10 BBM, that's obviously tied to BlackBerry devices. BBM Enterprise is wholly and solely BlackBerry. MTech now is a separate entity. What I think is maybe possible down the track, will MTech have a name change of BBM to separate it?
They can't. It's licensed.
Yeah.
They can't change it.
No, there won't be any name change for the MTech BBM. I would like to see a name change for BBM Enterprise.
It could be Indonesian, Berry Messenger, but IBM's already taken.
If you change the name from BBM or BlackBerry Messenger, you lose. No one's going to find that app anymore because even you could put in the Google Play Store and put underneath what formerly was known as BBM as much as you want, but when you're scrolling through the app selection list or in Google Play, you're not looking at what the description says it used to be. You're looking at what it's called now, and if they call it Secure Messenger by MTech or whatever, you're not going to get any more subscribers than you already have, and you might actually lose subscribers just by changing the name, because that's an iconic name. If you tell, even if you go up to like, you're talking with an iPhone user or another Android user, you say BBM, they know what BBM means. They know what BlackBerry Messenger is. It's still not, the app's not used as much as it used to be, but the name still means something, or
relevant.
It's relevant to other people.
Well, let's look at the BBM API that people can put the Messenger as a service within their own apps, right?
It's for the BBM Enterprise SDK.
Yeah.
Right. So say company X decides they're going to do this. Now, the BBM that they put within their app, that is for users of that app, right? It's not going to be out there communicating with me on BBM.
No.
Right? So it's a self-contained sort of situation where it's got all the greatness of BBM and it's running through BlackBerry servers, but it's self-contained for that enterprise group.
Yes.
Right?
It is for people to attach BBM services to apps within their enterprise.
Right.
Or with their clients. So if company X want to communicate with clients over messages, they can put live chat or anything. It will not look like BBM, but when the client will type a message, the behind will be BBM securing those chats. So it don't even need to look like a BBM chat.
Yeah. I just say that, I mean, whatever BBM does or doesn't do, I think we need to get MTech or somebody to promote BBM more than it is right. I mean, I love the updates that have been going through, and I know there's been some people who don't like the wallpapers, and I don't pay attention to the wallpapers.
MTech promote BBM in Indonesia.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's promoted in Indonesia, which is fine. I get that, but
they concentrate on countries where they have users: Nigeria, South Africa, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Indonesia. Yeah, they don't concentrate on the USA or Canada or Europe.
Yeah, but we are. But why not?
So, well, we are. Let's say that
you can take a deal like with TCL and Optimus and make BBM Asia, BBM North America, BBM Europe. Three different companies that will run BBM for each continent.
No, I get that they promote it where it's being used, but I mean, why not promote it where it's not being used as much anymore and get more subscribers over on board and grow BBM?
They want first to make a good, solid ground in their home base. It's Indonesia for now, and after they will be big enough and strong enough and will make money from this license, because for now I don't know if they're making money. I know BlackBerry lost like 1 million per month from BBM. So first they need to make money. After they make money, they will run and go and marketing in North America and Europe and other stuff.
Yeah,
it's business.
No, I know it's business, and I get the business side of it, but I also,
the only important thing is the business, not anything else. If you want to make money for something,
I know they want to make money, but the fanboy in me wants it to be everywhere,
Yeah, but you can't concentrate on fanboys. BlackBerry lost lots of money for running BBM. It's not an easy product to get money from it. So you can't spread your things and do North America and Europe and this and this and this. You will just lose. You lose more money. No one promised BBM MTech that they make more users in North America just because they promote it. So they first need a strong base and making money in their home.
But don't they have that already? I mean, isn't BBM very, very popular in Indonesia?
Yeah.
I think they have
it's the biggest market.
Not just Indonesia,
yeah,
but also parts of Africa. And
yeah, but downloading the app, not giving money to BBM MTech. They need people to do things that enter money. So just download and use the chat.
They have advertising. They have the stickers. They have different services that they're providing. And there's more things coming, and
Yeah.
where, I mean, yeah, they need to focus on where their income is right now. But there's also, I mean, like, we can be doing our own promoting. And throughout this whole mess with the BBM change, we got some news that, people were wondering about the pin, right? The free custom pin, because that's something that was mentioned. That's coming next month on the next monthly update. Everyone will be able to have their custom pin on consumer cross-platform BBM.
Free.
What's great is when you switch around with that BBM, your pin will follow you. So if you have your custom pin on, whatever platform you are, and you jump to the next one, your custom pin will follow you. Not your BBID, but your custom pin, right?
I think that custom pin will bring more users. This is a free feature that can bring more users.
The biggest complaint with BBM has always been, I mean, there's been a complaint and a praise, I guess, is the pin number, right? No, they don't use phone numbers.
And the invite process originally.
Yeah, they don't use phone numbers, which is great because I don't have to give out my phone numbers. If you remember my old dating BBM story way back when, you don't have to give out phone numbers, but you have to give out this pin number that, I think I remember as like 3 pin numbers from 3 devices. That was years ago. And that's it. I mean, who knows, hey, what's your pin number? Oh, hold on. They go through, I don't, somewhere in here. Here you go. So the custom pin will help with that process of inviting new people. Hey, what's your pin number? Oh, my pin number is, here's my custom pin. I know that. So I think it will definitely bring in people because it helps streamline the invite process.
So if the custom pin isn't tied to the BlackBerry ID and you're changing devices, what's it actually tied to? So say if I went from a
I would
heaven forbid me for saying this, but if I went from say a KEYone to an iPhone.
Let me stop you. If you jump, you can't go from Android to BB10. No, but right now, when you change devices, your pin changes. Your pin is tied to your device. Your custom pin is not.
Yeah, it's tied to your BBID.
Custom pin, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking custom pin. So
no, yeah, the custom pins are tied to the BlackBerry ID.
It's
okay.
Tied to your account.
Yep, gotcha. No, when Brad just said it wasn't tied to your BlackBerry ID, it got me wondering what. Shoot him down, someone.
We'll stone him later.
I knew as I said it that was going to be taken wrong, and of course it was Wayno that called me out on it. So
I love calling
everybody must get stoned.
Not that
sorry.
We don't promote drugs in this podcast.
No, that was a Bob Dylan thing. I wasn't talking about that. So I have a question. There's 6 of us here on the podcast. Who of us uses a messenger other than BBM?
Me. Not really use, but I have one person that I Telegram.
Okay, and what do you think about that compared to BBM?
I don't like it, but I have one person that I need to connect with Telegram. So I make myself the better man and using this.
Okay. So you're using the stock version of Telegram. right?
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Wayno?
No, BBM. BBM or text message. Yeah.
Okay. Brad, UTB
Oh, of course.
Brad.
I'm not putting one of those nasty ass things on my phone. I'm BBM, buddy.
Okay. And Erica, do you use something else?
Not really.
Not really. Okay, so that's not really an answer either, because you either do or you don't.
Technically, yes, but I use Facebook Messenger, but only to share links in Facebook to friends on Facebook.
Okay, so Facebook Messenger.
Not to really.
Nothing else.
Not to really actually talk.
Okay. And Bear Reporter Brad, what about you?
So I don't use them on I mean, I've used them before. I mean, I've used other messaging applications just to see what they do. And
this sounds like a guy that's being questioned on cops right now.
No. I mean, I've always gone for instance, if I've dove into the WhatsApp before just to see what it does compared to BBM. I've never liked any of them. I still use BBM, for most of my messaging. I've actually not texted people because they don't use BBM. If you want to contact me, BBM me. I don't want to use BBM. Well, then don't talk to me. Go away.
Yeah, that's what I do. But I think BlackBerry Brad saying he didn't inhale.
That's very Clinton-esque.
No, I mean I have a Telegram account. I don't have anybody to talk to it on, so I can't say that I've used it honestly.
Okay.
I've had WhatsApp before. I don't have anybody to talk to on, so don't use it.
WhatsApp is not very popular in North America, from what I'm seeing.
No, there was a. Well, I'll finish this off then. The only other messenger that I've used is a recent acquisition or invite, and it is Telegram. And I'm involved in a group there of size. It's a sizable group, and there's 2 people that have messaged me outside of that group privately. So the usage of that messaging app, is very low for me. And I once logged into WhatsApp on a BBS 6 device and realized very quickly what that did to me. It sucked up all my contacts, and I hated that. Hated them for doing that.
Contacts. Yeah.
Inhaled them, and I hated them for that. And I immediately deleted it, and I've never looked at it again. Telegram doesn't necessarily do that. It wants to know your phone number, which is convenient across devices, but I haven't done that across devices. It's a nice app, and to some degree, for some reasons, it's secure in its own way. But I'm not a big user of it, and I know I'm going to get beat up later for this, but I don't really care about it that much. And I think it's because all my friends are on BBM that I converse with on a daily basis, and BBM does the things I need it to do. I couldn't give a rat's ass about animated GIFs or GIFs or whatever you call them, which Telegram can do. I just don't care. I think it's a
BBM
mess.
can do it also.
Well,
it's animated stickers.
It's so messy because of those things, and people use them often. And I'm sorry, anybody that sees this that's in that group, I'm sorry, but it's like not a cesspool, but it's just a wasteland of animated GIFs and animated stickers and this and that, and they're huge in there, and I mean physically large, huge things in there, and I don't know. It takes it away. It takes away for me communications. It just takes it away. It's fun. It can be fun. It can be humorous and whatever. But to me, it's another thing. Some people like it, but it's skinnable. I like the fact you can put a background on it that you like. You can skin it the way you want, but and I'm missing a lot of things. There's some things that it can do that BBM just can't do, but maybe those things will come. And to me, I don't even know why I brought this up. Why did I bring it up? Because I don't know. It's BBM
he likes
for
creating controversy.
It's BBM for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have all the messaging apps that I've tried. I've always turned off the context syncing as soon as it prompts me and say, "Oh, do you want to take your content?" No, and that's probably why I have nobody to talk to on these things. But yeah, because it doesn't know who I want to talk to. But yeah, I mean, BBM has been, as I said before, I mean, like on my older BlackBerry devices, I've had the same contacts. I mean, same contacts from BBM that I've had since like BBM 4.0 or whatever it was. And back in those days, you had to transfer your contacts by backing them up to your SD card and bringing them back over to the new device. And I've actually always loved the random pin concept, because it's like, I don't know, it's just a BlackBerry thing. You get a new pin every time you get a new BlackBerry device. And if you get an email from me, from my Barry Porter email, it always has that pin number from that device on the signature. For instance, every BlackBerry 10 device has its own pin in that email signature. Same thing with my Key One and my Priv. They all have different pin numbers to it. It's a unique thing to BlackBerry, and it's something I've always loved. And I've gotten coworkers, I've gotten friends, family, ex-girlfriends, current girlfriend, all on BBM, because that's the only platform that I choose to use. And BBM's missing things, yes. We just got the ability to share videos, in groups recently. And that's something that's missing. Groups needs a couple more features. Channels needs to be brought back to life somehow. But it's still the main messaging platform that I choose to use and constantly use to this day. I mean, I'm in, I got like 10 BBM groups running, and that's probably the only thing that kills my battery these days is 10 BBM groups going at the same time. But I look at it as it's a social network. It's a social platform that we can connect with people all over the world and converse whenever we want to.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. When you see what app taking the most battery on your device, what is the most used app for any one of you?
App?
Yeah. So the first thing is Phone Idle and Android OS, the first thing that take your battery, and BBM is the first app, and after that it BlackBerry App Services and Firefox. Oh, I'm not using so many apps.
Yeah, I mean, BlackBerry Hub and BBM are my two.
Yeah. So BBM is my most used app.
Screen.
And Telegram is not even in the list. So
yeah.
But
if I wasn't such a
battery hungry?
Yeah, if I wasn't all over that phone all day, and when I get in and out of the car or whatever, Bluetooth would be at the top of the list, because there's something wrong with that.
BBM is my second to the last, actually. Well, all of them are, once it gets past Android system, I've got all 1%, and BBM's there.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that I use 2 different BBM accounts nowadays is probably taken away from my usage on my Android device, but
we have anything else?
Oh, we got like 2 more hours of stuff to talk about, right?
I do believe there's an announcement.
Oh, wait. Before we get to that, because we did have an article disappear this week, right?
Oh, yeah.
This morning, actually.
Yeah.
So earlier this week, we posted something that was in the public. It was out there for everyone to see. It was supposedly a TCL UI designer or UX designer.
Hey, John.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say her name, but okay.
I was going to say it. It was going to be zang.
That had published slides to her LinkedIn and to her own personally named account. And we reported on it, and tons of people reported on it. And I mean, we didn't find it. We weren't the ones that found it. We found it on Reddit, I believe, and it was there.
Yeah.
So this morning I woke up and I had a message supposedly from that person asking us to take it down. So I went looking, and the sources that we pulled it from had deleted it, and her website was suspended. So there's something to that story that we don't know about, but that post is now gone and missing. If you got to see it, good for you. I really didn't see anything that would have been considered new,
controversial or exposing, or
I mean, I didn't post it on Bear Reporter because I didn't really see anything in there. I mean, technically I kept looking at it and I didn't see anything in there. It seemed like stuff from Android 7.0, which I'm like, we're at 7.1, and that doesn't, I mean, I think me and UTB Brad were talking about this. It was, what was it? What was that battery booster mode thing?
Yeah.
It sounded like boost. And I was like, that I don't know, just something doesn't seem right. But the fact that her website went down kind of shows that there's something in there.
Well, you brought it up, and you pulled it away, and this and that and the other thing, and good on you if you saw it. But maybe for the people who didn't see it, what the hell was it?
It was just slides. It was just like presentation slides of, hey, here's some ideas that we can do, and it was labeled Juno, right? Juno. You know how it is, but I mean, there was no images of anything that could be mistaken as a Juno. There was images of the Priv keyboard, and there was images of the classic keyboard.
Maybe someone didn't read the NDA with his employer before he published it.
I have a feeling it was stuff that was either turned down, like, hey, we don't want this, we're going this other direction, or stuff that was integrated into the Key One, so it's old news at this point. And I don't know. It struck me as odd because there's nothing in there that I would have considered like if we would have been presented that as a leak, right? I would have been like, well, this is boring. There's nothing there.
Yeah, but it's not about what the content that published. I think it's not allowed to pub it's about not allowing the stuff to be published before next year or 2 years from now. If it's TCL rights, it's TCL rights. So
I think it was that white key one that was presented in there. BlackBerry Mobile didn't want people to know that there's a white key one coming down the pipeline, and they don't want to get BlackBerry Brad excited for a white key one.
Or plans for a file manager.
Yeah. I'm not as excited about the file manager as in the white key one.
You're weird, man. Well, who wants a white BlackBerry? Come on.
Give me a file manager.
Give me a red one.
Give me a white file manager.
Your white passport makes me want to pull down statues.
See, white passport, white Z30. I don't know. I like white devices.
Hey, Brad, how about that announcement?
Okay, so this is episode number 99. We actually made it to 99. I don't think any of us thought we would make it past like number 7. But here we are.
Problems
and Dave's not one. So
I didn't think I was going to make it past 60.
Yeah, here we are, episode 99, and so we're coming up on episode number 100, and we want to make it something special. I believe it was last year at New Year's we wanted to do something special, and we never came up with it. So I got it in my head. Let's bring back some of our old guys that were missing, right? And good old Chap is going to be here next week. I'm very excited about Chap.
Yeah. Go the Aussies. Yay.
I'm trying really hard to get a hold of Ian or Bartron, and I'm not having any luck. So if anybody like runs into Bartron at the grocery store, you'll notice him by his yellow glasses. Stop him and tell him he's needed next Friday. And then I was all excited. I was like, this is going to be the greatest podcast ever. And then Wayno had to go and do something.
Yeah, well, I didn't think your effort was good enough. So to make it extra special, we've got a good friend of ours, Alex Thurber, has decided to come back on the blogcast and join us for the 100th episode. So
cool.
Good on you, Alex, and thanks for agreeing to come back on. We're really looking forward to another special blogcast.
So
fantastic
news.
It's regular
same time, 7 p.m. over there,
or regular time.
So regular time.
Cool.
So I don't have to get up early in the middle of the morning.
Yeah, thanks, Wayno.
Yeah, like Roy.
Like Roy.
So can I make an announcement too?
Sure.
Because I mean it's tomorrow. So tomorrow is BearReporter.com's 9th year anniversary. So
holy shnikes!
Yeah,
you should blog that on UTB. Oh no,
I'm working on blogging it right now. So it's been 9 years. We're a year behind Crackberry, so that shows you how far behind we are. Yeah. So tomorrow's.
You don't want to be behind the crack.
I'm already on the crack, man. It's called Blackberry. But 9 years. Tomorrow we're going to be announcing a contest early in the morning. So we have a pretty cool little.
Wonder why I drink.
Pretty little cool contest. I'll give everybody a hint. It has to do with a note. Not a note 8, but a note somewhere in there. But yeah.
Very nice.
Are you going to blow up the site?
No. Yeah. Yeah. It has to do with giving away some free stuff tomorrow, starting tomorrow, and then another contest coming shortly. So 9 years for us, that and 100 episodes for you guys, which is weird because I started the Bear Report podcast 2009, like right after I joined Bear Reporter, and we're only at 65 episodes. You guys are at 100. That is because I took me and Art took the longest hiatuses in the world. So
and
we're gonna
Brad
slowly.
just won't shut up.
Yeah, that's true.
We like to talk. But you know what? I do want to mention something. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah,
and anything we can do to help promote, tell us, because we're all about it. I do want to mention something because I saw a comment, I think it was on Twitter, congratulating or thanking or something, but mentioning the fact that Barry sourced us this week, right? And the comment was something about, hey, it'd be awesome to see these sites work together. Now, I'm not going to lie. You know, there's obviously been some prior issues that anybody that's read any of us would know that between the beginning of UTB and Crackberry. But at this point, yeah. But at this point, you know, I mean, Blaze has been on our blogcast. I think we're friendly. Dave knows we're friendly. I do want to I mean, you look at our community, honestly, our most prolific blogger runs his own site, Barry IL. Roy here is on his own site, and we're all working together. And Blackberry Brad, who's seen fairly regularly here on the blogcast, has really been helping out behind the scenes at UTB recently. He's been editing our posts and publishing our posts, and I mean, he's right there helping us out. So, and plus we have that other side project, you know, the new Team Blackberry, that we really need to get that going again, that Brad and Roy and myself and Dave and Art, if he's still, you know, above water, was doing. We need to get that going again. Yeah. But, I mean, it's like the Blackberry community really is a community, and we really are helping each other out. So regardless of what it looks like from the outside, and I apologize for our early days where there seemed to be wars every other minute, because there were wars every other minute. But you know what? Lucas is gone, so that's all gone now. And we are a nice community. We're a nice community now. So I just wanted to say that. Congratulations, Brad. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's another side project that I think might be in the works. I need to talk to UTB Brad about, but I need to get his opinion on this. But there's stuff in the I mean, I remember. I think I was listening to, and I still listen to the Crap Rate podcast because I listen to everybody's podcast and I want to get everyone's insight and everything. And Crack Rate Kevin was on there saying how, in the early days of the BlackBerry sites, it was, I want more views than your website, which is true. I want more views, and as Brad was saying, I kind of see the behind the scenes of UTB, and every once in a while I'm like, oh man, he got so views on that post, and whatever. Great for you to be, bad for me. But the news is getting out there. We're at a point where the BlackBerry community, who no matter who shares that news, the news needs to be out there as much as it can be. I know there's people out there that read everybody's sites, even though it's the same article over and over again, and it's a different different train right now, different engine right now, that it doesn't really matter as much anymore as I want more views than your site's getting. It's more of, I want BlackBerry to succeed. I want BlackBerry to do well. I want BlackBerry Mobile to do well. I want BB Mariputai to do well. I want all these devices to be selling, and I want BlackBerry devices and BlackBerry security to be the number one in both sectors of the world. And if we're gonna compete over each other and who's got more views and such like that, it's not going to benefit the product or the company that we're trying to promote here. Face it, we're fan sites that we're trying to help promote a product and company that we love. And I've been doing, like I said, 9 years. Bear Reporter's been around. I've been around about 7-8 years, and it's because I love the product and I love the company. And we're not going to help them by arguing over who has more or views on their sites. So, at this point, it's a group effort, and I try to, I helped Art with Nerdberry. I helped Art get that thing rolling in very early days, and I don't mind helping UTB around. And I do I want to see Bear Reporter succeed even more? Absolutely. I always I lose sleep over most nights about how do I make something better. Or if you look at the YouTube channel, the videos that I used to put out are 10 times better than they were. Or the videos that I put out now are 10 times better than what they used to be, but we're all growing, and the fact that we're growing and working together, it's a big thing.
And let's be clear, we all want to be number one. You know what I mean? I will roll right over Brad and Roy if I can. I'm clearly want to be. But what's more important is that a BlackBerry site is bigger than like a BGR. That's what we want to see. And
yeah, I mean, if there's no BlackBerry to talk about, we're not here, right? I mean, right. UTB's here because they're more of a geek site, but Bear Reporter's not here. Barry IL's not here. Nerdberry is not here.
Just to be clear, we're doing the geek stuff to be to give us something to do, and we're not doing it and to try and put something on the site when there's nothing to put on the site. But our geek posts don't get any traffic.
I mean, if people don't know, I have another site that's called Brad's Geeky Review, and I do everything but BlackBerry. But the Bear Reporter is where my focus has been since pretty much day one. There's been some times where and you have to realize, I mean, UTB has the luxury of having 4 people that help them out throughout or 5, more than one person to help them out throughout the day. I am a lone ranger on my end, and still take my time out to help UTB out and Nerdberry out and such. And speaking of Art, I have been in contact with Art. He is okay as far as the hurricane goes. He said the floodwaters have kind of everything flooded around him, but not near him. So, good. And I made a post this week. The last thing I'll say, made a little post this week about how you can help those affected by the hurricane in Houston and in Louisiana, because we do have fans do have readers and BlackBerry users and everybody. Who cares what device you use? It's important to go check out the site, the post on Bear Reporter to see how you can donate and what charities are available to donate to, because it's important for the area to recover from what they're going through right now.
And apparently, for some strange reason, thoughts and prayers don't work. people need to eat.
Yeah.
And you can't eat a thought or a prayer.
So money goes a long way. And this to make money on my end. I have no affiliation with these sites or whatever, but I'm on the East Coast. So I'm pretty close to the Jersey side. So we were hit with Sandy a few years ago. So I know the cleanup that it's going to take for these guys to get through what they're going through. So last thing I'm saying, unless you guys drag me into more conversation.
That's actually a great out right there. Go be charitable. Go hit up Barry Reporter and go donate to our hurricane friends.
Yeah, there's actually a way. There's a way you can donate from the Google Play Store. I think I saw that in there today. Somehow just donate directly from there. So there's ways. Go do it. Go help out people. Be nice. Be nice to your fellow friends and site owners.
Do it now. And join us next week when chat returns. Hopefully we will have got a hold of Ian by then. And Alex Thurber.
Gotta like it.
Okay.
Episode 100.
Huge. It'll be
See you then.
Let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night.